Your Minnesota Fighting Vikings are back at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill. Day 2 of organized team activities. So much room for activities. Media Jackals were allowed partial access today. Of course, there's some scenes. Alec Lewis, the athletic, who really respect his work. Like his think pieces, his columns are fantastic, and it's just a different take on the whole beat writer thing. A, B, C happen. No, Lewis definitely explores the space. It's fantastic, and JJ McCarthy showing off a little bit of juice. You like the juice, huh? That's QB3. As he's wont to do. Also, Dallas Turner is just an absolute freak, and I know people say, well, his arms are too skinny. I think it's pretty easy to put on muscle in the National Football League. And the kid's only 21. Physically, you generally peak around 25, 26. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be aight, adding a little muscle to that frame, man. But also, Harrison Smith was... Harrison Smith was... There was a lot of press conferences today, but Harrison Smith was the star. I love it, man. Like Luka, Puka, Duka, no factor. Wolves in 4. That's right, man. And also, like, Harrison Smith, so he came back on a massive pay cut for the second year in a row, and he's just ready to do the damn thing. He's ready to do business, man. Will Rag at Sports Illustrated. Harrison Smith, people outside of here aren't expecting much of us as we are of ourselves. I think we have the makings of some good things. And he's exactly right. Where, hey, Vikings over under 6.5 wins because people love to hate on the Vikings, and they just see the myopic view of things where it's like, oh, well, they lost Kurt and Daniil, so they must be really bad, and they have a rookie quarterback. Or, no, Sam Darnold's a bust. Please. Honestly, I could play quarterback in this offense, and they may be a top half of the league, given the weapons, given the prowess of Kevin O'Connell as well, and the defense, woo. I mean, Flores is just going to get after that ass. Bring your ass, because we getting after it, man. I love it. Also, Harrison Smith. So Harrison's always been an interesting cat where it seems like he loves football, but it's a vocation. Like it's not. Don't want this to come off weird, but it's like not the passion of his life. He has a lot of interests outside of football. He's he's a licensed pilot. Like he overcame his fear of flying. He's like, hey, I'm gonna fly. I can fly. I'm a pilot. Alec Lewis. Harrison Smith said he hadn't really thought much about football. Then saw on ESPN that free agency was soon. Thought, oh, I should probably talk to my agent about playing. Had been working as a carpenter welder for his brother naturally, which I don't know, like arc welding, it's a lot of fun. Also, hey, you want to make some really good money. You want to make some really, really good money. Become an underwater welder. It's a very specialized but very much in need gig, and you make bank, man. I had a couple of friends who were underwater welders down in like Mobile and stuff. It's fantastic. But also carpenter. Hey, you know who else was a carpenter? Harrison Ford. Look it up. Harrison Smith, full on Renaissance man. It's just like football is. Yeah, there's some players where football is life, and I always worry about those players because after the game has passed them by. If you don't have a mission, if your entire identity has been stripped from you, it's really hard. You always have to have your next thing lined up. And Harrison, I ain't worried about Harrison. Like, I actually predicted like over the last couple off seasons that maybe he would just walk away. A lot of other interests in life, but no, super cool dude. Also cool dude, Sam Darnold, who looks very confident right here, but. Will Rackets. Sam Darnold. I enjoy the process of learning a new offense. It says his year in San Francisco has helped with the transition to the Viking system. That's the thing, too. And I think people really sleep on that because they look at, hey, the Jets with Adam Gase. Hey, the Panthers with Matt Rule. He's had horrible coaching throughout his NFL career. But last year, even though he was the backup in San Francisco, backing up Brock Purdy, working with Shanahan's, I mean, it's great. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, even though he can't win the big one, respect. He's one of the greatest offensive minds in the game, and the whole Shanahan system, which of course we've had experience with the Kubiai, but of course lots of branches off of that tree, and the Vikings do run a Shanahan adjacent type offense through the McVay fork, and the whole thing is like, hey, Sam Darnold, like he was the number 3 pick for a reason, which we'll get to, but he's got a big arm, he's got big mobility as well, and his accuracy off of play action boot is certainly up there as well. So the things that Again, all the reasons why McCarthy could succeed in this offense, it applies to Sam Darnold too. And there's a little bit of crossover in terms of what they bring to the table in terms of skill set. Also, that's a good looking hat. And speaking of hats, so Kevin O'Connell is a good model of hats. Wes Phillips, I don't know, man. I don't know. Raggets again. Vikings OC Wes Phillips says Sam Darnold's arm talent has been evident since the first day he arrived in Minnesota. He was a number 3 pick in the draft for a reason. And that's exactly it. I mean, go back to 2018. Like, there was talk that Darnold could and should have been the number 1 overall pick. Ultimately went to the Browns and Baker Mayfield. But the whole thing about it is like, hey, Josh Allen was in that class, and there was a legitimate debate of Allen or Sam Darnold. And Darnold went, at 3. Josh Allen went at number 7. So, I mean, Darnold has talent, but it just hasn't come out yet. And he's still young. Like, he's still only 26. Came to the league at 20. So, the pride of USC, maybe he can get something going. Who knows? Also getting going. Alec Lewis had one thing is very, very obvious after watching J.J. McCarthy for 2 practices. The velocity cliche of the ball jumps out of his hand. I'm not sure it's ever been more apt for a dude. He has major juice. Again, you lack of the juice. And that's part and parcel of seeing it in person too. And that's why coaches and evaluators and scouts, they love seeing a player in person. That's why they travel so much. It's like, oh, just watch the film. It's not the same, man. It's almost like you have to hear it. Just like, whew, just hear it pop off the hand. And I mean, Kirk Cousins does have a very decent arm, but I mean, McCarthy and Darnold, like, they can sling it. They certainly can sling it. And I think that, a lot of people just said, like, oh, J.J. McCarthy's Christian Ponder 2.0. He's got a noodle arm. Now, just because he didn't put up massive passing numbers doesn't mean that he doesn't have the skill set, right? Because McCarthy, we said this a bunch, McCarthy could have transferred out to Tennessee or Oregon or wherever and put up insane video game numbers, but he wanted to be at Michigan in a pro-style offense. He did what it was asked of him, and when his number was called, he made plays. And like, arm strength and arm talent was not one of the question marks that a lot of evaluators had about J.J. McCarthy. So don't worry about that, man. And again, who was ever on center, McCarthy or Darnold, they're going to get it out there. Both of them got hoses on them. Also, getting it out there to Justin Jefferson. Lewis, Justin Jefferson was not at Vikings voluntary OTAs today. It's fine. He didn't attend last year either. I'm told, though, that he's been working out pretty aggressively on his own per usual. No real departure from the norm there. And, of course, all the talks that, oh, he was in New Jersey over the weekend, but was he at Wilf's corporate headquarters signing up that contract? Maybe. But, yeah, the least of my concerns about Justin Jefferson is him showing up, like, ready to rock and roll and be in shape and be sharp. He's going to be fine. It's non-factor there. Lastly, Kramer Strib. Vikings had OTA number 2 today. First open to local reporters. Quarterback Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and J.J. McCarthy took reps in that order. Of course, the rookie starting out at the bottom now here. Well, I guess not the bottom because he's ahead of Jaron Hall. Wide receiver Justin Jefferson remains away, blah, blah, blah. Recovering players out include T.J. Hawkinson coming back from the ACL, as well as linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel. Had a minor ding. He'll be fine. And the Kramer. 5th-year Vikings Blake Brandel is the starting left guard. To my understanding, he's taken every first-team rep through 2 OTAs so far. I'm glad they're making an emphasis on keeping us together, Senator Garrett Bradbury said. So, left to right, Brandel, nailed it, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, and Brian O'Neill. And chemistry and continuity is important along the offensive line, and that's what Chris Cooper and company are banking on. So hopefully the interior can get sutured up. And I think it is a spot, too, where, like we said, like Brandel, he's penciled in as the left guard. They gave him the contract, but if he doesn't step up in OTAs and training camp and they're just like, then I think that's when they call in Dalton Reisner. I think that's the plan going forward. But that's it. That's it. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.